Imagine this.
Stone! Help!
You're in the scorching dust, every eye on you. Your neighbors, your friends, they're all there, each one clutching a stone. One word, and your life is over.
Spare me! I've done nothing wrong!
No trial, no appeal, just justice by stone. Where did this terrifying ritual come from? Today, we're digging into the horrifying reality of stoning. Stoning, or lapidation, as the scholars call it, goes back thousands of years. We're talking Mesopotamia, around 2000 BC. The earliest records show it wasn't just about killing someone. It was a profound, community-wide act, a way for everyone to show loyalty to their gods and chilling unity in judgment. Think about it. Every hand shared the burden, the guilt, and the power of the sentence. But why stones? Why not a blade or a rope? The answer is a morbidly fascinating mix of physics, law, and crowd psychology. It was the ancient world's most democratic weapon. In many ancient legal texts, the stones couldn't be too big, killing the victim instantly, but couldn't be too small, doing no damage. They had to be fist-sized, specifically designed to prolong the event. By using a crowd, the community avoided the guilt of a single executioner. If 50 people throw a stone who actually killed the person, it was a psychological loophole that allowed a village to go back to dinner that night. There's also a terrifying bit of math involved. To fracture a human parietal bone, you need a force of roughly 14.5 joules. A fist-sized stone thrown by an adult male can easily exceed this. The design of the ritual was essentially a slow-motion collapse of the human frame, one impact at a time. But why rocks? And why are we the only ones who use them? To find out, we need to look at our own DNA. To explain the science of the stone, here is our tactical lead.
Wait, before we talk about history, we have to talk about monkeys. Did you know humans are the only primates on Earth that can throw a rock with lethal accuracy? A chimpanzee is 5 times stronger than you, but if he throws a rock, he misses by a mile. Our shoulders are literally engineered for this.
But once civilization started, the stones got weirder. Let's head to ancient Mexico, the Aztecs.
In the Aztec Empire, they were obsessed with order. If you were caught stealing from a marketplace, stoned. If you were a priest caught drinking, stoned. But here's the kicker. They didn't just do it to punish you. They believed that if they didn't stone the criminal, the gods would literally sink the sun. Would you risk the world for one thief?
And if you think stoning is just a desert thing, wait until you see what they did in medieval England. They had a loophole called peine forte et dure.
If you were accused of a crime and you refused to plead guilty or innocent, the court couldn't seize your property. So, to keep their family's inheritance, some prisoners stayed silent while the guards stacked heavy stones on their chests one by one. And one man in America actually became a legend for it during the Salem witch trials. His name was Giles Corey. He was 81 years old. They stacked the rocks on him for 2 days. Every time they asked for a plea, he only said 2 words. 2 words that changed American law forever.
More weight!
It was the ultimate I win. By refusing to speak, Giles Corey was never convicted.
Because he was never convicted, the government couldn't seize his farm. Can you believe? He literally let himself be crushed to death just to make sure his kids could inherit his land. He used the weight of the stones to beat the system. But for most of history, stones were used to protect something powerful.
The law itself. And if you want to understand why stones became the official weapon of the ancient world, you have to go back to the most famous set of rules ever written, the Law of Moses.
Stop right here. Numbers 15 hits like a gut punch. This guy, he's just out collecting firewood on the Sabbath. To us, no big deal.
Wait, look at that. He's gathering sticks. Today?
But fresh out of slavery in Egypt, Israel is learning to trust God completely, even with 1 day of total rest.
What are you doing? It's the Sabbath. You know the command.
I just need wood for the fire. What's the harm?
The harm? You're spitting on what God did for us, pulling us out of Egypt, giving us this day of rest. Take him to Moses now!
This was the exact moment the 10 Commandments changed from simple rules into a system that demanded blood for order.
The Lord has spoken. Take him outside the camp and stone him.
This is the first stoning in the Bible. Under the law of Moses, the witnesses, the people who accused the person, had to throw the first stone. If it was later found that you lied, you would be guilty of murder. The first stone was a heavy weight, literally and legally. It was designed to make a liar's hand tremble. If you weren't 100% sure, you didn't throw.
The core belief? Sin polluted the entire community. It was like a spiritual infection, and to cleanse the camp, to restore holiness, a life was ended, in full, terrifying view of everyone. But what happened to the body? What did it feel like to die by stoning? And how did this horrific act impact the victim? This is where it gets truly grim. When you think of stoning, you might imagine a quick death, but the truth is far more agonizing. The goal was to inflict maximum suffering. Initially, stones would target the torso and limbs, breaking bones, causing immense pain and internal bleeding. Imagine the first few blows, ribs cracking, internal organs like the liver or spleen rupturing, leading to massive internal hemorrhage. The victim would be in excruciating pain, likely unable to stand. As more stones rained down, the head would inevitably become a target. Skull fractures, brain injury, and ultimately, death. Death could take minutes, even tens of minutes, depending on the number of people, the size of the stones, and the aim.
Fast forward centuries, and that same law is weaponized, turned into a trap, and here we are again, right back where we began. A woman accused of adultery, dragged into the open, surrounded, stones ready. This time, the religious leaders shove her straight in front of Jesus.
Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?
Jesus doesn't argue, doesn't quote the law back. He simply kneels and writes something in the dirt, we'll never know what. And then he stands, eyes steady, and says those words that cut through everything.
Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her.
Silence falls. Stones hit the ground instead of her body. In that instant, Jesus turns rigid rules into a mirror, forcing everyone to face their own guilt. Mercy breaks through.
From now on, sin no more.
Where judgment ruled, he saves her life, but the pattern repeats soon after. This time, with deadly force. This leads up to perhaps the most famous instance of stoning was St. Stephen, the man who looked into heaven while the world threw rocks at him. We actually made a full cinematic breakdown of Stephen's final moments that you can watch right here. But what happens when the stones move from the pages of the Bible to the modern world? What happens when there is no savior in the dirt to stop the hand of the accuser? In 1986, Iran, Soraya Manuchehri, an innocent wife and mother, was falsely accused of adultery by her abusive husband. He wanted a younger bride, coerced witnesses, bribed a cleric, a sham trial, no evidence, just power twisting the law, echoing the Pharisees' trap. But this time, no voice of mercy. They buried her waist deep, made her family throw first, then the village. It took agonizing minutes while everyone participated, just like the woman dragged before Jesus, accused of adultery, facing a mob ready to stone her. Her aunt Zara smuggled the story to French-Iranian journalist Fridoun Sahebjam, whose book exploded globally, and the 2008 film The Stoning of Soraya M turned it into a worldwide wake-up call about this hidden brutality. Human rights reports note stoning remains legal in over a dozen countries today. Iran, Afghanistan under Taliban rule, parts of Nigeria, Somalia. Sentences are still issued, though international pressure sometimes stops them. This is where it gets uncomfortable. We look at the Pharisees and think, I'd never be like them. We look at this village and think, I'd have stood up for her. Imagine you're there. Your friends are watching. The leaders say it's justice. In that moment, the stone in your hand feels light. It feels like duty. Would you have the strength to be the only one to drop it? Or would the fear of being the next target make you join the mob? Tell me in the comments.
Stoning, that was raw mob chaos, quick, messy, everyone throwing. But Rome, they looked at that and said, we can do worse. They engineered something evil, took the pain of rocks and stretched it across days, turned a quick death into a slow public nightmare, body breaking inch by inch while the whole city watched. This was psychological warfare. You just saw what a crowd can do with stones. Now watch what an empire does with nails and wood. If stoning shocked you, crucifixion will blow your mind. It's the most calculated torture in history, and it changed everything. Click right now, don't wait. Watch the next video before it's gone.